Let's look at some more examples of some misleading graphs. So in this example, we have a national news organization that created the following graphic to illustrate the change in the highest marginal tax rate as of January 1st, 2013. So why might this graphic be considered misleading? Well, if we look at it, it looks like the 2013 bar is about 3 times as tall as the 2012 bar. Why is that problematic? Well, let's look at the actual percentages they represent. The 2013 bar looks like it's at about 39.5%, and the 2012 bar is at 35%. So the difference is only 4.5%. But based on the way the graph looks, it should be much larger than 4.5% difference. So why does it look so misleading? Well, the problem is that the vertical scale does not start at 0. And so it causes a distortion. So generally, when we have a vertical scale that does not start at 0, then the graph is just misleading. Because it's not deliberately done. So it's not misleading on purpose. So generally, a better way to do this mathematically is to put your vertical scale, start it at 0, and then put a little break in the vertical axis with 2 little lines, and then start with whatever you have on your scale. And that way it lets the reader know, hey, pay attention, this didn't start at 0. So let's look at the second example on this page. This graph depicts the number of residents in the United States living in poverty. So why is this graph misrepresentative? Well, if we look at this graph, the vertical axis doesn't start at 0 again. Just like in the previous graph. And if we look at the numbers here, this is in thousands. So when it says 30,000, it's talking about 30,000 of thousands of people. So I know that's a little bit confusing, but the way we could figure that out is do 30,000 times 1,000. And that is 3. So it's 30 million people. I think. Now I'm second guessing myself, so. No, 30,000 people. I was right. So that's a very, very large number. So it would be very hard to include the scale below 30,000. So this graph is misleading, not deceptive. Okay, what about this bar graph? They do these a lot in USA Today. And this survey was conducted by Impulse Research. And individuals were asked how they would flush a toilet when the facilities are not sanitary. So some use a shoe, some act normally, some use a paper towel. What's the problem with this? The problem is we don't know exactly what represents those percentages. So do the bars of the graph include the rolls of toilet paper or just the unrolled part? In other words, is the part that I'm supposed to look at to represent the bar just down to here? Or is it the whole thing all the way down to the bottom of the roll? We don't know because they don't tell us. And so that's one of the problems. The other problem is that the vertical scale is off. So 17% is a 13% difference with 30. And 30 to 41 is only an 11% difference. But it looks like it's the same. And so that's not good. So this one, again, is misleading. I don't think it was done deliberately. We'll stop this video here and we'll finish up the last page of the section 2.4 notes in the next video.